This is a major Gregg Popovich update. The Spurs have updated us on Gregg Popovich's health and well-being as the Spurs head into tonight's game against the Washington Wizards. Now, we are going to respectively give Gregg Popovich his just due, and we will save the Gregg Popovich update for the very end of the video to give him his respect while also previewing the game tonight against the Washington Wizards. We are taking on the Washington Wizards, who are struggling. No surprise there. And we have a chance to stack wins today. And you know what? We have a chance to stack subscribers right now. Make sure y'all click that subscriber button. Make sure y'all hit that doorbell to get notified anytime we drop a video. We appreciate all the love and support. And we know the more wins the Spurs get, the more subscribers we going to stack up, man. So let's watch these Spurs stack up those wins. And I really think they can stack up the wins tonight. I really think tonight can be an opportunity for the Spurs to really just go out there and continue to dominate. Like, that Sacramento Kings win was huge for the Spurs. Like, it was, not necessarily something I think a lot of people would have projected. I don't think they were favorites in that game whatsoever, but they came out and went crazy, and that was a lot because of Victor Wembanyama, man. Victor looked incredible. He looked dominant. He looked like the guy that fans are excited about having on their team. 34 points, and it was a fun game to watch. The Spurs never looked like they were in trouble at all against a really talented team. Their defense looked sound. Every piece of the puzzle just seemed to have worked that night, and we really got a glimpse of what this Spurs team can be, what this Spurs team can accomplish if everything is working out. We knew that Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes weren't going to be superstars here, but we knew if they did the little things, and then the rest of the young guys were able to come together and learn from them, and that Victor was going to be able to be the star and be the focal point, that this thing would work out and that wins would happen. And tonight is a great night to stack wins. And I think the first thing we got to look for is Victor Wembanyama being able to continue to be dominant, continue to be aggressive, because this team's going to go as far as Wemby takes them. And he has been aggressive. He looks good, averaging a double-double. I mean, that's always going to be impressive. His shot looked a lot better. He went 50%. I'm not going to be mad at that based off of what we've seen so far. But 6 for 12, hitting 6, man, was great. And we saw what happens when Victor is able to hit that shot, like what it does for the offense and what it does for everybody else. It makes everybody else's life so much easier. So it was really great to see what Victor was able to do. We definitely got to talk about how tough it's been of a starter season for Victor. Losing Sochan, losing Gregg Popovich. We're going to talk about him a little later at the end of this. And it was just really tough. It's been really tough for Victor, but like seeing a game like this against a really good team, against a strong, great center in Sabonis, it was very impressive, and there's a reason for Spurs fans to be excited now. And I think we're going to see another dominant game tonight. There's no reason why we can't. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be going up against another young guy, but I don't think he's polished enough to have anything like to stop Wemby. It's just not going to happen. I think Wemby is due for another big game. And as long as he can continue to stack these big games, I do not see the Spurs losing. I don't see them, losing this game at all, honestly, because I think Wemby's going to have a really strong night. And as I said before, like, they have a really tough stretch of games. The Spurs have some really, really tough roads ahead after this Wizards game. I mean, I know they're going to be seeing the Lakers. They're going to have some really, really tough games. The Mavericks, the Thunder, before they see, the Jazz. Those are 3 really, really tough games. So it'd be great to get that win. And a big part of that's going to be Wemby being able to play dominant basketball, which he's been able to do as of late. And Devin Vassell as well, man. I'm not sure if he's going to stay in this bench role. It's been very interesting to see him. Like, you're going to want to give him time. He's going to ease in after his injury. I can't imagine this last, though, him coming off the bench. I don't know when they're going to make that change. But man, he still looked really, really good. And I love how aggressive he's being. Yeah, sometimes he takes shots where you're like, dang, man, you might have could have made the extra pass. But I like seeing him be aggressive. I like seeing him not be scared, because as integral of a piece as Victor is, integral of a piece as Chris Paul is, Dev is just as important, because this team's going to go as far as he's able to go as well. He's going to have to put up nights where he's scoring 20 plus, where he's guarding the best perimeter guy, where, he's guarding the best guard. Sochan's, busy guarding somebody else. Like, there's going to be times where Dev is the most important player on that court. So I'm loving the fact that he's being aggressive and not trying to ease his way in, but really just, you know what I'm saying? Like, playing basketball, getting buckets, like doing the things that we know Dev can do. Like, that's the beauty of Dev, is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he a killer, man. Like, nothing was promised to him. He didn't get a lot of scholarships coming out of high school. Like, he's hungry, man. He's a dog, and he wants to prove that he's the best player on the court at all times. I'm going to keep saying that and keep reminding you guys that. That is the kind of mentality Dev has. Like, not a lot of young guys are like that. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but not a lot of young guys are like that in this league. Last and final point for me is very, very simple. Got to just keep playing team basketball. Like, that was the best the Spurs have looked as a team. And I mean, it's only a few games into the season. Remember that this is a very new look team. This team has a lot of different things going on. And a big piece of that is not having their head coach. As you guys might have seen on the as you guys might have seen, Gregg Popovich, there was an update, a very, very major, huge update. I wanted to make sure I saved that for last just to show him his due respect and give him his due time. The Spurs are saying he had a stroke. The Spurs are saying that Gregg Popovich suffered a stroke, and that's why he's missed this time. They don't know when he will come back. But that is the first update we've gotten about Gregg Popovich since we found out that Mitch Johnson would be, stepping in for him and that he'd be missing some time. We don't know what happened, but we do know. And I have family members that have had strokes. I'm sure a lot of you have, familiarity with strokes as well. It's really hard to come back the same from that. So those are very, very serious things. It's not a little thing, but the Spurs did tell us that he will fully recover and be okay. And man, what a blessing that is to hear. And that is amazing because Gregg Popovich, is such a big part of not only San Antonio, not only the Spurs, but the NBA. He's a huge part of the NBA and the fabric and the way he's been able to mold these players throughout the NBA and build these championship teams and build even championship coaching trees. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of your favorite NBA coaches come under Gregg Popovich's tree, and he's just impacted so many things. And it's not just basketball with Gregg Popovich. He cares about the world and about life, and he wants to make an impact. He makes a change. He doesn't shy away from talking about the tough things and saying what he believes in. Whether you agree with what he believes in or not, you have to be inspired by a man that is not scared to say what he truly feels and truly thinks. And I got to work with Gregg Popovich for a few years, and he was always a very kind, funny, great dude. And everybody that knew him, and know him, have nothing but great things to say about him. And I think that everybody feels that way that comes into contact with Gregg Popovich. He is a great human being. He cares so much about the game of basketball, but he also cares about life and the human being and the player, who the player actually is off the court. He's so impactful. And so, we wish him a speedy recovery. A stroke is not something that is light. Not something that we take light at all. So like I said, I wanted to end the video talking about, Gregg Popovich and his impact. Because again, man, he is just so important to this game, and it's so much bigger than basketball. In any game and any amount of wins during the season is so much bigger than that, and NBA is a real family. And so, like, prayers to Gregg Popovich and his family and everybody that's close to him and everybody that loves him. Just prayers, because we know you guys are going through a really, really difficult time. But that we, as a Spurs fan base, we're all here for you, giving you good energy, Gregg Popovich, and giving you healing energy, Gregg Popovich. We cannot wait for you to come back, and it's so great to hear that you will make a full recovery, because we know something like a stroke is very, very scary. So, Spurs family, on that note, I think we should end the video right there. Let's get a Spurs win for Gregg Popovich. I know they can dominate this team and show us some fun stuff and continue to grow. And that's exactly, I know, what Gregg Popovich will be watching too. I know he probably hasn't missed a Spurs game. He loves his Spurs so much, man. So let's get this W, Spurs family. I am Bryan Colbert Jr. here with a Spurs Digest pregame show. I'm out.